Colorado Harvest Company is the official sponsor of World Viral TV. Check us out on Facebook or at coloradoharvestcompany.com. Mention World Viral and receive 25% off any one regularly priced item. We got 3 locations for you now: South Calamouth, South Broadway, and East Yale. So we're serving the whole Denver metro area. Colorado Harvest Company, where quality products and friendly service consistently grow together. World Viral TV is brought to you, as always, by Colorado Harvest Company.
Right on. I served in the military out there.
Music Buzz Live. We are back here
What's
in Studio
going
A.
on?
My name's Moose. We got Chad Drew and we got CT back in the booth. And now in studio we have my good friend Maxwell. How you doing, man?
Hello, brother, and thank you for calling me a good friend. I feel the same way.
Hey, all right, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Anybody that wears a bandana like that is A-okay with me.
Well, I rode
killing
my
it.
bike 5 miles to get here, so the bandana kept the smog out.
Yeah, there you go. You got to do something, man.
Hell yeah.
So Maxwell is working on the next rendition, maybe, of the Transition Theater. Next performance.
Yeah, you can call it. It's developing, It's a new concept, and out of the gate, it just grew really quick. And I found that, when a lot of ingredients are coming your way, you can kind of serve a bigger stew.
Yeah, I agree. Give us real quick a little background just on Transition Theater and how it came to be what it is, and where the concept was born.
Well, where the concept was born, I was talking to my son. He was on tour with Flog and Molly. He was in Europe. And I had just gotten off the phone with a friend who was talking about a suicide. And there seemed to be a lot of suicides from the West Coast of people in my generation. Very creative, talented people, some very well-known people. They were just checking out. So I get on the phone with my son. He calls me from Germany. And I go, how's the tour? And he goes, man, Dad, it's really weird. It's like the... He said, every city we go to, someone has been checking out. It's like they're not making the transition. And I said to him, wow, man, it's funny that you should say that word because I'm thinking about calling this theater, which he knew about, Transition Theater. And we both got kind of quiet. And I said, I'm going to honor our friends and those who just don't make it over the bridge. Because as you know, a transition is the bridge, from when you start something and what you go through to finish it. And a lot of people sometimes don't even finish the bridge of life.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
And you've done several performances now around Denver. If I'm not mistaken, you just did one last weekend, or was it the week before?
Yeah, but those were kind of like pop-ups where I will do something really intimate, maybe 50 people, just to kind of experiment and kind of test the audience.
Okay.
We did our first legit show last year, and one show won us Best Of in Santa Fe Art District. So I knew our finger was on something. Mm-hmm. Then we did a production in April, and now this is our second true production.
Perfect.
You guys got me itching. Like, no offense or anything, but I haven't. You're definitely Tim's friend from back in the day, and this is the first time hearing of this. And I'm sure some of our viewers are the same.
Yeah.
Tell us, like, what's going on here in a performance? Because I know that just in the little bit I've had a chance to talk to you, very deep. There's a lot of things coming out of you in an artistic way, and I'm interested to know what the show would consist of.
Well, thank you. Well, my background's rock and roll.
Right on.
Years of rock and roll. Touring, recording, that whole experience of what it is to be in the identity of a rock and roller.
Right.
And I dug it, and I related to it, and I was very attached to being a rock and roller. But something happened to me in Denver. Something amazing happened to me in Denver. I wanted something more meaningful. I wanted to give an audience something more than an excuse to get high and drunk.
Right.
I wanted to really move people in a conscious way. And through circumstances, I stepped out of rock and roll last year. Tim knows a little more about that.
Right.
But my days of performing and being on stage weren't over. It just meant I was going to go through a transition.
Right.
And here's the clue, and this is what I want you all to know. I walked into the Hare Krishna temple in Denver, and it blew my mind.
Huh.
It blew my mind. The people hanging out there are people like ourselves, people who have done amazing things. You'll find them in mohawks and tattoos and whatnot, but they've gone into Krishna consciousness, and they vibrate in a certain way that really, really turned me on. And I thought, okay, that's it. I want to get back to the rock and roll audience and turn them on the way the Krishna people are turning me on.
Right.
And I knew I couldn't do it if I started another rock and roll band. That just wouldn't do it, you know. It had to be different, and it had to be challenging to myself so that I could grow.
Right.
And so Transition Theater was born, first of all, in respect to having some heartbreaks.
For sure.
Sometimes it takes a heartbreak to really say, okay, I'm going to change my life.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it was that drastic. And then, of course, it had to be meaningful, and it had to be spiritual.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being like a concert, you're doing a full-on theater production with actors and with gymnasts.
Well, it's not an original concept. You know, there's great theaters. I don't use gymnasts or actors. There's no spoken word because I want to relate. I want do want the rock and roll audience to relate. So first of all, the most important thing is first the music.
Right.
So the music is written. Like I'm always thinking, does this move people? Can this happen? Will this music translate loud?
Mm-hmm.
You know, loud. We love loud. I love loud, like we all do.
Reverberate.
Yeah, you want to move people with the vibration.
Right.
But then again, what is the vibration you're giving them? That was the key. So the music, different music, as we all know, emit different vibrations. That's why we react differently to different kinds of music. So it was really crucial that this music was going to vibrate people in what I thought was what I think is a more loving, more, hey bro, I want to get to know you way, and I want to hang out with you sober.
Right.
You know, like I want to be real.
Right.
So the music was really important. Great musicians. All the talent is Denver, which really I'm glad to say. There's so much great talent in Denver.
For
So
sure.
the musicians were put together, and then we use dancers, some of Denver's best interpretive dancers, meaning they can walk in this room. Yeah, they can just start moving their body because, you know, they can let the environment move them. And the blessing is I'm really lucky. I'm attracting very beautiful women. So that's an attraction too.
Okay.
That always helps, dude.
And then we use video projections to add that element. And the projections go to each scene. So when you're in the audience, you're taking on a journey. You know, it all works together. It's all tied together.
Great.
That's pretty sick.
And so the next performance is October 11th out at the Lakewood Culture Center, which is ironic. My fiance just got a job for the city of Lakewood. She literally works right there in that same building.
Wow, that means you're going to get some free passes from her, right?
I hope so.
Hook up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was a little apprehensive when we have a producer now out of New York, and he said, I want you guys to play the Lakewood Cultural Center. I said, whoa, that's moving way too fast. It's too big. And he booked us for two performances, and I was thinking, you're going to screw me, man. This is too big. It's too much pressure. But he believes in the show. So, you know, last year we were a garage band. Now we're playing the Lakewood Cultural Center.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
good. It's got to be a good feeling.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Well, you got to work hard.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
You really do. There's a lot of worry because you want it to go off good.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right.
I think it's totally cool. I have to drop it real quick. I think it's totally cool that your son plays in Floggy Molly. I brought it over to Tim. I had a patient bring in on their last tour through Denver. Got the whole band to sign a poster and gave it to me. One of my patients next door.
Awesome.
Gotta love you out there. You know who it is.
I jammed with your son.
Very cool.
I jammed with your son at 3 in the morning.
They influence people all over the world.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know, and they're still doing it just as strong as they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, I just saw them a month ago or so at Riot Fest.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
one. Yep,
it was
for sure.
great.
It is so impressive.
Yeah.
You know.
Very cool.
Good
And
people,
I
man.
remember introducing Nathan to Dave King. That was a great day because Dave and I were friends way back in the day.
And Dave is, of course, the singer, Floggy
The singer
Molly.
and the writer.
And the
Right.
writer, yeah.
You know, or he writes, you know, the majority of the music. They all work together. But Dave is the one who sits in the guitar and has all the pressure. I've got to write a new album.
Mm-hmm.
And when he met my boy, it was an amazing, you know, they're like soulmates.
That's sick.
It was sick, yeah. And I got great stories, but I won't say them on the air. But
Go ahead.
down the line.
Hey, what happens on the road stays on the road.
That's
That's
what he
rule
keeps trying
number
to teach
one.
you.
Well, no, this is shit that happened in my own house.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, see, it's full. It's you could do it then.
I was a
right?
big supporter of Dave King before Flogging Molly.
All right.
So introducing him to my son, basically this is part of the story. Nathan showed an interest to play bass, and I was really pleased that he didn't choose drums or guitar, but he chose the bass, and he proved to be really dedicated to it right away and started putting bands together. Anyways, I didn't want him to pay the dues the way I paid the dues in LA. I mean, I paid the dues like most people would. I went through the ranks from a kid all the way up, and I thought, man, I don't want him to have to pay the dues. And then I became good friends with Dave King. And I knew he was reforming a band. They needed a bass player. So I just said, hey, man, try my boy.
Oh, that's sick.
Because he was the best songwriter I knew.
Yeah.
And poor at the time. And he looked at me and goes, if he's your boy, he's in. And that was it. So they spoke, and it was that instant. And there was a time when I thought just those two would go off and start their own band. But Flog and Molly was coming together. They weren't called Flog and Molly when Nathan joined. That was the beginning of Flog and Molly.
Yeah, it was the Dave King band at that point, right?
Huh.
Yeah. But, I could talk a lot about that stuff. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it all because I told Tim, and I tell anyone who's listening about rock and roll, if you're pursuing rock and roll, be careful because rock and roll is laced with demons, and you've got to really watch your behavior. And stardom can really, really put your life out of balance. So do it, but stay grounded. Have a good vision, be true to your family, and remember, you're a messenger when you're on stage. As a rock and roller, people are listening to you. You're an ambassador.
That's
so
awesome.
take that responsibility. That's my message, really, to all you rock and rollers in Denver. It's a big responsibility.
And that's how this theater that he's doing right now is gonna help out the audience that same way.
It's an interpretation of that. Well, Maxwell, thank you so much for coming down, man. It's always good to see you. We'll have to do a coffee one of these days.
For sure.
Every time I see this guy, he's got a new coffee shop. We never meet at the same one twice.
You want to stick around and watch the Motel Minute with us?
Oh, we got a brand new Motel Minute. You should
I'd
check
like
out.
to see that, man.
All right. Well,
really thank you guys very much.
Yeah, we'll be right back with the brand new Motel Minute here in just a minute on World Viral.
Just like that. Shut your fucking mouth. Okay.
Dude, what's going on over here? I heard somebody scream, so.
Oh, it was me.
Was it?
Hi, I'm on my rag.
Oh, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way.
My son's got a special request for you.
Yeah, what's up?
He's right.
Oh, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. World Viral. Colorado Harvest Company.
I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I grab myself.
Oh, I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want anybody else.
I touch myself. Be proud. Americans, unite if you touch yourself. Hold hands. Well, don't hold hands. No, that's disgusting. Touch yourself in private.
World Viral.
Herman's Hideaway on the corner of Iowa and Broadway. Your favorite independent anti-corporate venue featuring Westward's best patio. Now serving award-winning food. From metal to jazz to hip-hop, Herman's Hideaway has something for everyone. And if you want to book your act at Herman's Hideaway, email booking@hermanshideaway.com or call 303-777-2535. There's only one venue, family owned and operated for over 50 years. Holding it down in Denver. Go to hermanshideaway.com for more information and show listings.